things first. Could you describe what a typical day for a test pilot is?
A typical day for a test pilot. I like to say a typical day is we fly every day, but it's not. You know, a test pilot works with engineers, and that work, development work, for example, looking at some new ideas in the simulator, and flying the sim, to looking at new displays, maybe on a bench, including working with the flight test engineers in planning the test flying program, and then ultimately flying the test plan, where a day would start with typical briefings, and then the objectives of the flight test, and of course flying the test program, and then we're also involved with the report writing, so there's a lot of writing involved also. Yeah, it's not nearly as glamorous as it sounds. The job title sounds more glamorous than the work sometimes.
Can you talk a little bit about your display here at Lima 2013?
Yeah, thank you. The display we're putting on for the Malaysian Air Force, and I word it that way because it's a show for the Malaysian Air Force. It's not a show for the public, although the public I think will enjoy the show very much. And the reason I say that is you'll see that our airplane is fully loaded with weapons. The reason we do this is that virtually any airplane can fly a good show, especially the modern airplanes today. With nothing on the fighter airplanes, no weapons, no pylons, and light on fuel, you can put on an entertaining display. But the reality is, for the Air Force and for the decision makers, is what can the airplane actually do? And what can it do when it's loaded, of course, because that's how the airplane would be flown for real missions. And so we're here flying the air show, and the only ones flying the air show loaded with weapons for the Malaysian Air Force, so they can have some insight as to the capability of this airplane.
And the loadout is a mixed bag of air and air-surface weapons.
Yeah, it's a mixed load to show that we are clearly a multi-role, multi-mission airplane. And we have two Mark 83s. Those are 1,000-pound bombs, so in the order of almost 500 kilos each. Two AIM-120 missiles, the radar missiles, and two AIM-9 missiles. So a fairly decent loadout.
And what about your fuel load for the show, the typical show?
The fuel load I'm flying with is, it's around 9,000 pounds of gas when I start. The airplane can hold as much as 14,000 pounds. Everyone puts a little less fuel in because fuel is weight, and weight certainly is a bit of a penalty for maneuver. So everyone is light loading the fuel just a little bit.
And the G limit for these maneuvers when you have the full loadout, what would that be?
It's at this weight and fuel loadout, it's 7.5 Gs, and I see as much as 7.5 in my air show. And I'm flying about as low as -2 to 7.5.
I noticed that the two Super Hornets this time around, one with the conformal fuel tanks.
Yes.
Can you touch a little bit on that and the reason for it being here?
Yeah. So we brought two airplanes, one to display for the air show, and one to put on display as a static airplane. The static airplane is intended to show the possibilities of the different types of configurations and loads that the Malaysian Air Force might be interested in. One of them is a new program that we're very excited about, and that is the conformal fuel tanks. We have began this test program and the development of those, and we hope that if the Malaysian Air Force were to choose the Super Hornet, that they would choose that configuration. It provides so many benefits. It would be too long to discuss now. But in terms of range, endurance, capability, and even small radar cross-section, I mean, the list goes on. And the possibilities for Malaysia, including the Malaysian Air Force, are many, because we're right at the cutting edge of this, and so there's a possibility of offset programs and development and sharing engineering with Malaysia, should they be interested.
Typically, how many pounds of gas do they carry?
Well, they're brand new. We tend to carry 3,500 pounds of gas, so on the order of 1,500 kilograms or more, maybe more.
On each?
No, total.
Total.
Yeah.
You won't be flying the one with the conformal tanks anytime?
No, that's simply for the static display. Yeah. Now the conformals, we haven't flown them on the airplane yet. They will fly this summer. Like I said, that development program is cutting edge, and we're in the midst of doing it right now. So we're showing something very new, I hope, to Malaysia.
Are you involved in any outreach programs with children and as part of your job scope as a Boeing test pilot?
Yeah, we are. In fact, I'm the chief pilot, and I encourage all of my pilots to be involved. We are all involved, in fact. So whether it's educational programs, speaking to schools on career days, being involved with hosting youth groups that come by to learn about aviation or about airplanes. I've made it clear to my staff, and it's clear to us, that the kids want to meet the pilots. They want to meet a pilot, and then that might result in a career that goes into engineering. It might result in a career that goes into maintenance, and it might result in a career that goes into flying. We've often bring the flight gear with us, so we dress up the kids and let them see what it's like to wear a G-suit, and maybe even to inflate the harness. So yeah, we're all involved.
Those vents at the back of the airplane, in between the vertical tails, those are new, right? I mean, they've been there for quite some time, but they weren't there on the first.
All airplanes get rid of heat somewhere, and it's why. And originally we didn't have those. It was just the heat would just come out, and it's pretty hot along the surface, and so I think they determined that it would be too hot too long for the length of the life of the airplane, and it would be better if we created these little stacks. And what they do is they actually mix cold air with the hot air coming out, and so it actually cools. And what we do is we reduce what we call our IR signature. Our infrared signature is reduced as a result of those, and it's between the tails. So again, it's all about trying to make the airplane more difficult to target and to attack successfully.
I always wondered about those.
Yeah. So now you have all the insight there. That's the whole story.
Fantastic.
Playing games or what? You're doing a really good job flying. You don't need my help. Later on, we'll refine exactly where to put it, and just hold it there till impact. So stick up a little bit, and stick back. Put the nose down just a little bit. The nose down just a little. There you go. Nose down. Hold it. Hold it. Impact. You caught the wire. Land on the ship. Nice job. Nice job. Congratulations. Excellent. Not many people do that on the first attempt. So that was very well done.